Hey everyone, welcome to this video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I love about my Fuji X-T4. Hopefully this will help you in some way if you're thinking of switching to this model or you're coming from another camera company into the Fujifilm world. So we'll start off with the flip screen. Now this is not that unusual now to see in a camera, but it was back in the day when this was coming out. There were not many cameras that did the whole full articulating screen. So this one goes right round. You can close it as well, which is really good. So if you want to protect the back of the camera, if you're in storage or you're holding it or it's in a bag, you can close it so it's all done. You can also use it this way to make it feel like a film camera so that you can't see the picture that you've taken. And it's really, really handy for filming. If I'm, out and about and I want to just quickly vlog something, all I have to do is just pull out that, flip it around, and I can see myself and I can basically vlog with, a couple of seconds setup. So that's really, really cool about this camera. And like I mentioned, other cameras do come with that, but there's still quite a few out there that only flip one way, or they flip up, or they flip down. So yeah, this one I think is sort of an all-rounder. I used to have a Fuji X-T3, which flips this way and that way, but in a sort of different hinging way, so you can't quite get the selfie right. But yeah, I think this is the best of both worlds. Obviously, it'll be even better if we could just do the flip this way as well. So that's one thing that this one doesn't do. It doesn't go up that way. So if you just want to flip it up while you're in horizontal mode, it's not ideal, but the functionality overall across all the different screens, which I've had the flip up one, the flip to the side, the non-flip, I've sort of tried them all. I think this is the best, and setting up an external monitor can just be annoying so to have that on board. Like right now I can just gaze over and I can see myself, it doesn't have to be big. I just need to know that I'm in frame or that something is in focus. So that's that one. Moving on to the next thing, the customization of the buttons. This camera has so many little buttons that you can customize. I just love that about it. So for example, there's one button there, so you can quickly press that just to access something. There's another one there, which is really handy if you're here. It's just right there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. I think it is. So you've got two right by your side. You've got the Q button, which will give you a menu of up to 16 items, which you can quickly scroll through and select. And you've also got the buttons at the back here. They can also be programmed to be function buttons. And as well as the screen itself, you can slide down. And that, for example, I've set it up to enable the zebras there. I'm not doing it very well because I can't see what I'm doing. But yeah, you can slide up or down to the side, so you can enable all different functions just by sliding. So you've got 4 there just on the screen. You've got another 4 there. You've got another 2 there. Yeah, and there's of course the AF button and the AEL button. They can also be programmed to be something else than what they are. And you've got that whole Q menu, which has another 16 buttons. So I'll show you how that works. So once I press the Q up here, it comes up with this grid, which you can program. And then all you do is just, oh goodness, I'm doing this backwards. So yeah, you can either click by hand and just, choose it as you go like that. Or you can, it's probably not showing that very well, or you can just, so for instance, I usually access the picture profile, so I would press that and just use my scroll wheel to go through them. Hopefully that's doing it on the screen there. Yeah, it is. So yeah, sorry, I'm not very set up for this filming. I haven't done a video in a little while and just thought I'd take the camera and start. But yeah, so you can see there's a lot of customization, which I just love, and was part of the reason why when I was buying this, I was thinking to maybe go with the X-E4. But yeah, it has a lot less buttons, although, you could argue that the buttons sort of distract you and maybe simple is good too. But because I was doing this for video and buying this for video and photo, I just thought I would go with the X-T4 and have all the options, you know, sort of the top of the line camera in the Fuji APS-C world. Yeah, next one is auto white balance. This is a one that I didn't know existed for a little while. What you can do is program a button, and when you press it, it just locks the white balance. So I love this, and it saves so much time when I'm filming. So for instance, with video, I will just put a white card there and just press that button there, which I've got it programmed to, and it'll lock my white balance. So let me just show you. So I've just programmed it to this button, and once I press it, a little icon appears there on the screen as I press it and unpress it. And the icon basically just locks the white balance, like I said. So if I got a white card, made the screen completely white, so that all the camera sees is white or grey, and then I press that balance, it's locked that white balance for the light that I'm in. So I often use that when I'm filming, I mean almost always, so that my video doesn't keep switching and that I can control my colours that way. So that's the white balance. Next one, film simulation. So again, I've got this set up to the Q menu. So I'll just press Q at the top, and then I can scroll through. That first icon allows me to scroll through the different film simulations there. So you can see I've got custom ones set up, and you can change those to whatever you like. There's lots of different customization within there. I use them mainly for photography, and for video I just film in F-Log. And for photo I'm experimenting with a lot of different film simulations, trying different colors and different you know, tones and shades and curves and whatever you can adjust in there. I'll show you in a minute. And yeah, they're pretty good. So that the whole concept of film simulations is huge for the Fujifilm world, and part of the reason, a big part, that I moved to it, so that I can feel like I am shooting on film but in digital. So there are sites out there that you know, come up with different menus to simulate film stocks that actually exist, you know, like Portra 400, or, you know, all sorts of different film stocks. So those you can sort of program, and then you get the JPEGs straight out of the camera looking similar to what film would. Obviously they're not going to be identical. Film's got a flavor that digital can't replicate 100%, but they will be much closer than on many other camera brands. And yeah, Fuji just does an awesome job of that. I love that you can do that, because you feel like you are shooting on film almost, and the feedback that you're getting from the, you know, the viewfinder, or, you know, once you see the photo, which of course I mentioned you can turn that off so you don't see the photo, so it really is like film. When you come home, you can have a look at what you shot rather than while you're out. But if you are using the viewfinder to have a look at pictures, for instance, this was shot with a film simulation, you can see it's got like a green cast, etc. So you're seeing as you're shooting it. I just love the fact that, I don't know, just something about it when you press the button and you can, you know, see the colors already like baked into the image. It just like looks really cool. So and it makes you want to go and take more photos, which is always a good thing. So that's that one. Next one, that's it. That's a simple one. I've just got a little listlet written down here. That's why I'm looking down. The photo video button, which is really, really cool and so cleverly designed. So just here, let me see if I can zoom in. If you can see there is a photo video button, and all I do is just flick that over and it goes into photo, or I flick it over and it goes into video, or the other way around, because I can't see exactly what I'm doing. That is movie. So, and when I flick it, it retains all the settings. So if you have a look, if you have a look at the screen and my settings there, which are all over the place, I think, and I flick that button, it goes straight into other settings. So it'll keep the shutter speed, the white balance, film simulations, all sorts of things. So I just love that, because if I'm taking photos with one set of settings, I can just flick with one click basically, and I'm ready for video in the way that I want it, you know, which is always the frame rate and shutter speed has to be locked up, and white balance is a issue if you're just flicking from that to that. So this just makes it really easy, and with one flick I can make videos, and that's what I did on the last few videos when I did the photo walk, etc. I just took one camera. I didn't have any POV. I just filmed a little bit with that and took a picture, flicked it back to movie, and it worked pretty well, and means that you've only got one camera with you instead of taking two. But I think I will experiment by maybe getting a GoPro and putting it on there and seeing what the POV is like with that. All right, next one is the lens ring. So again, more cameras are coming out with this as we move into the digital world and digital lenses. I think Canon's got most of theirs now, or some of them. I'm sort of out of the loop. And I think Sony's doing them as well. So maybe everyone's on board with this, but just the aperture ring here. So without going to any of the menus or anything, I can change the aperture by spinning the ring. And this is native to the Fuji lenses. So it's actually part of the lens. It's not tracking me. So that's pretty cool. So you can take that setting out of you can leave this button as your ISO and the back one as your shutter, and then as your focus, you can focus and change the aperture really quickly. Pretty cool feature. I loved it when I first moved through to this system. Very clever, and it's just, yeah, it's on all the lenses, so it's just easy to do. Some of the lenses don't have the markings, but most that I have do, I think, except this 18 to 55 kit one, but it still moves. You just have to look at next one is sort of to do with the film simulations, and I will show you inside the menu when we're in the photography part of the camera. When I press, let's see, let me just get into here. So yeah, when I press the menu button, when I am in the photography side of things with the knob up there, I get into a menu like this. And in here, I can change a lot of things that many cameras don't allow to change. For instance, I can put on a grain effect, and I can make that grain weak or strong. I can go down here and change the chroma of the colors. I can go down here and also change the shadows and the highlights and the way they're being recorded. So I'm just going to turn this around because I don't know where I've gone. Where are we? I've gone too far over. Here we go, tone curve. Sorry, I'm sort of trying to see inside this lens, the reflection, to try and do it. Obviously on the screen I could see too, but it's a little bit small. So in here, this is really cool. So if I click this, I'm seeing the actual tone curve of the JPEG, and I can change this by lowering or increasing the tone curve. So you can do that for the highlights and the shadows. And I think that is so cool, because I don't know of many cameras that allow you to do that inside to the JPEG. Of course, there's, you know, your color, your sharpness, clarity, etc. And what have we got here? Yeah, that's back to color space. Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing that I love about it. Like, to be able to customize your JPEG to that level is really cool. And that's how a lot of the film simulation recipes are able to be created, because the camera is allowing for that level of customization within the camera rather than doing it in software, which is fun because you're seeing sort of an image that you normally can't create inside a lot of cameras outside of the Fujifilm world. I think I'm pretty sure Ricoh does some of a similar setup, but yeah, Fuji really, I think, owns that space at the moment for most of the cameras. Next one is the RAW conversion. So this is a new one that I haven't used too much, that I've just worked out not long ago. But basically, if you're shooting in JPEGs and you're shooting a film simulation, say you did Portra 400 or whatever, and you've taken the picture, you can go to playback, so go into the picture, and you can go into the menu, and then there's a thing called raw conversion. So what I do is I shoot JPEG and RAW, so I've got that RAW backup. I can always delete it, I don't have to keep it. But because I am shooting a RAW and a JPEG, I'm seeing the JPEG, I'm working with the JPEG, but if I make a mistake with the JPEG, or if that film simulation doesn't look good, or if I've done anything that I don't like, I can fix in camera via the RAW file and change the JPEG. So if I hit that RAW conversion, you'll see that I've got a lot of different options here, including the file type, the image, you know, all sorts of, I'll just flick through them. So you can change, you know, whatever you need there. That was the film simulation. So I can go and change to a whole different one that I've got programmed. And yeah, within a click of a button, and then resave that as a JPEG. So I won't go through that now. But basically, you've got a lot of options. You can change your grain, you know, so you might be looking back in the playback and seeing that the picture didn't turn out quite the way you wanted it. So if you are shooting RAW as a backup, which is an option, you've got that option to just change it within camera, and you don't have to do anything in software if you're shooting straight out of camera. So that's a good little one that I discovered not long ago. And I haven't got into it too much, but there was a couple of photos that I didn't nail the exposure, and I was just able to quickly change it in there as well. So the next one is auto ISO. So the camera offers you 3 ISO banks, if you like. So if you're setting your ISO to auto, you can set up 3 different versions of it. And I've got it programmed to this button at the top. So if I click on that button, it gets me into the menu here where you can see different ISO settings. And if I go further to the right, left, whichever way we're facing, I can alter those. So I've got what is the default sensitivity for that setting, what is the max sensitivity for that setting, and what is my minimum shutter speed that I'm allowing the camera to go down to in that setting. So that's really cool, because if you're shooting an auto in daytime or, you know, or nighttime, you can set different settings so that the camera just sticks to that range for whichever scene you're in, which is pretty cool. And the last one that I wrote down is multiple exposures. This camera is so fun. It's got so many cool built-in things, and one of them is multiple exposures within the camera. So I've set that up to this button. I've just recently actually changed it to this button. I used to have it on a different button. So you'll see that when I press that button, I am presented with a menu to say, do I want multiple exposures? If I say yes, it then asks me which one. And then I'm able to shoot, I think that was additive, wasn't it? So it drove to single. Anyway, I won't go through it, but basically you can set up to shoot multiple exposures within the camera. Might make a separate video on that. But what happens once you just click a couple of buttons, you take a picture, it keeps it on the screen, and you can move and set up your second exposure, seeing exactly how it would look. Click, and then that's baked in and saved. And that's a pretty cool feature to have on a camera as well. I don't know if all brands do that. Yeah, so that's about it. Of course, you've got, you know, your dials there as well, where you can quickly switch, as well as all those customization ones I showed you. I forgot to show you this because that sort of makes part of it as well, where you can quickly change frame rates, you know, how quickly, so single shot, multiple shots but slow, multiple shots but fast, and you can adjust how fast you want those as well. And then you've got bracketing and some advanced features. The bracketing is really cool because you can actually bracket film simulations as well. So you can have 3 different film simulations, you know, as part of your bracketing. Other than, of course, you can do exposure as well. And I can't remember, I don't do bracketing much, but there's many options in there. If you want me to cover that, I can do that in another video. And it's also got some advanced modes where you can choose some fun setups to do in there. You know, like sort of that looks like an old vintage picture, or you know, that sort of thing. And the other one right at the side is panorama. So that's all on this, all on just a switch, so very easily clicking through them. But yeah, the panorama is also stitched within the camera. So I know normally a lot of cameras need to do that within Lightroom or Photoshop. So Lightroom, Photoshop, I can't remember even which one. I don't do much of them, but yeah, this does it all in camera. So you just hold it and pan across, and then it stitches it all up and makes it into one long picture, which is really cool. So yeah, I've been rambling on about this, but yeah, I'm sure I've missed a couple of things. Of course, there's the dual cards, which I sort of half mentioned. I'll just show you the slot, so very easily pops open. You can remove this door as well if you want. Yeah, that one, but not the other one. Yep. And yeah, that allows you 2 cards, and you can record same to one as the other, or you can say I want my JPEGs on that one, my RAW on that one. At the moment I'm doing the same to both just for backup, but I might switch so that each one goes on a separate card, and then I've just got backup of them. Just thinking what else to tell you. There's just so many cool features. You know, you've got your little switch just at a quick switch, just you know, straight away you can go to manual and it's done. You know, I just know that if I push to that side, I'm in manual, so I don't even have to hunt or look for a menu. There's just so many little cool little things. If you want me to talk about any other features of it, just drop me a comment in the section below and I will make a video or answer your question. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, it'd be great if you could subscribe and give a thumbs up if you like the video, and recommend it to other people. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great day, and bye.